All right, Rob, let's get into this. Hey, look, we thought we were done with Odell. Apparently we aren't. And maybe, though, there's some closure here because Jerry Jones said today, Rob, is quoted in USA Today. He was on the radio, surprise.
Oh, wow,
surprise,
really? Wow, that's unbelievable. An owner on the radio? I
think it was a radio.
His
Ricky,
own radio show?
Yeah, he said this. Odell's going to join us. There's a good chance he will, with the complete goal of getting ready for a playoff game or two, and then I'll look to the future. But most of it being about now. Rob, I guess let's go here. It sounds like Jerry's going to sign him. Widely reported that he's not ready to play, that he may not be ready until some point in January. And I think that, Rob, might even be a stretch if we keep it real. But do you like this? I mean, do you think it's a smart move by Jerry Jones, or it's just more ridiculousness?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, for real. It's sight unseen, Chris. He wouldn't even work out for you. We got it. Randy Mueller told us, was to look at the medicals, Chris, and that stuff. I get that part. But counting on him and putting expectations on a guy coming off such an injury, why? Why is the focus on OBJ? That's Rob, what I don't get.
Expectations. I'm gonna read a little more of what Jerry said.
Okay, here we go.
Heard nothing yet. I'm hopeful we can get into some important games and have some. Sit down and get ready for this, Rob.
All right,
and have some Deion Sanders type results. Could this be possible to have a great player like that get in 2 or 3 playoff games and make some significant plays? I think very much so. That's not an exaggerated thought at all. The great ones, the extraordinary ones, have an ability to make a play or two in game that can be the difference in a world championship or not. It's kind of against the principles of all the practices, the repetition that you do for football. It's against that. But the reality is it happens. That's been my motivation. Rob, what this speaks to is a desperate man. And look, that's what fans want, Rob, from their owners, right? George Steinbrenner was desperate to win championships. So he did anything. He left no stone unturned. And Jerry Jones is desperate to win another Super Bowl. He hadn't won one in, 26 years?
He hasn't won one. Forget about the year since he took over. You know what I mean? Since he took over the operations.
Since he took over, right. He's got the 3 when he was the owner and was letting Jimmy Johnson
do the football.
Right. And then once, he wanted to do more football and Jimmy was gone. He did get the one with Barry Switzer, but that
team was already set up. Right. It was just like all turnkey, Chris. You know what I mean? Like
yep.
Switzer didn't have to do anything.
He can try to say, I had my own coach, but nah, everybody knew. And Switzer, Rob, was a good college coach. We all remember him at Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, he wasn't a terrific NFL coach. And like you said, it was all pretty much
because if that was the case, they could have kept going. It went right away after that because then you started to make decisions, after that.
Yep. I look, if the price is right, I'm not mad at first of all, I've hated the way they've handled this. And this is just more of it. But this is the Dallas Cowboys. I contend that this is the type of culture that is all drama and it's a soap opera and it's just creates a bunch of distractions. And that is really not conducive. I'm not saying it can never happen that you could win under these circumstances. But, Rob, I think for the most part, as a rule, it's not conducive to winning big. And that is what Jerry Jones has created. That's the culture. And that's why you see the players speaking out. That's why you see a Micah Parsons say something about Jalen Hurts 2 weeks in advance, and now he kind of took it back a little bit today. But that it's the type of culture that creates these distractions, players mouthing off, and you really don't see many other. Rob, do the Steelers roll like that? No. Do the Patriots under Belichick roll like that? No. Most of the really successful franchises don't roll like that. And Rob, if they do, or at least have an inkling of this, the only way they overcome it is with historically great players, right? I mean, Michael Jordan played with Dennis Rodman. Rodman obviously was out there, but you had Jordan.
Right.
And you had Pippen, right? And so even Dallas, right? We know when they won Super Bowls, it was crazy, right? The stuff that was going on off the court, off the field. But you had Michael Irvin, you had Deion Sanders, you had Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and others, and they were able to overcome it. This team is talented, but it ain't like that, Rob.
I agree. It ain't like it's some shoe-in, and we've seen the struggle with the Texans, Chris. We saw it when they coughed it up to Green Bay. I mean, there's some signs there that scare you about this team. Last year, they scored the most points in the league and couldn't score to save their life in a home playoff game against the 49ers, whose quarterback didn't even throw a touchdown in the game, Chris, and they lost easily. That's just, we've seen it.
Absolutely.
So how in the world can we look at them and think like something else is happening here? I just can't look at it that way until if they win and they get there, then I'll tip my cap. They got some of the pieces there, but I'm not fully convinced that they're on their way.
No, I'm with you. And look, as far as OBJ, like I said, Rob, if the price is right, and to me, the price being right is I wouldn't really expect anything from him in the playoffs. If he does, it's gravy. And it's great. And if he's really good like he was last year for the Rams, then praise the Lord. You know, you got one. But, Rob, if their thinking is we bring him in, if he does anything in the playoffs, it's icing on the cake. But we lock him up for next year because, you know, the talk is that he'll be in March, he'll be a free agent. And he will be the top free agent wide receiver on the market. That's very thin at that position on the market this year. And so if Dallas is thinking, let's get him in here, lock him up, work on his body, make sure he gets right. And if he can't help us in the playoffs, then we'll have him for next year. I don't mind that, Rob, if the price is right. Now, OBJ, Rob's talked about wanting $20 million. I'm sorry. I'm not giving you $20 million. Without seeing you play?
But just
when they have other players they're going to have to take care of this summer?
No, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like he wasn't ready to work out or wasn't ready to show you anything, Chris. I'm with you. I'm just not sight unseen. I'm not just off your reputation or off your name. You're hurt.
No way. Absolutely. Because Rob and OBJ, we know, I mean, probably won't be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know if he'll do some great things going forward, but certainly had that type of talent, Rob. And but even what has failed him, as much as he has a reputation for being colorful and all that, it really is, Rob, the injuries that have really kind of made his career go sideways. It's the injuries, and that's when he was younger. That's when he was healthier. And so, yeah, the Cowboys need to be careful. Again, I don't mind it if you're smart and if you're not, paying too much money for him. But I just think this is Jerry, Rob, creating more distractions and all that stuff. And it just, if I was on that team, I'd just be like, come on, man, this is ridiculous.
No, you would just be like, this is why we are where we are.
Right.